Within this year, I managed to 10 times my prices. 400 as average to 4,000. Within a week or 2 weeks, suddenly 30,000 followers. And then 75,000 followers in 3 months. What makes people unique? What makes artists unique? What makes Martin Garrix or Eminem unique? I looked at their Instagram and I saw like, okay, well, all their profile or Facebook, everything is good quality photos.
What struck us was that, Jed, you have a really you have a unique profile. I mean, a lot of people are into photography. Yeah, it's a business that you see commonly. A lot of people do it, but you have a different approach, a different way. I don't know why. How did you get into photography in the first place?
Well, I wanted to be a DJ as a kid. I was really obsessed. I was like Eminem, Martin Garrix. I was like, it was really interesting how obsessive I was with those people who I never met and they don't know nothing about me, but I know everything about them. And this effect I always wanted to recreate as a kid. And then, okay, well, I decided to move to Amsterdam, to the Netherlands. And then I wanted to be a DJ. So I was actually the DJ of high school and stuff. But then I moved to Amsterdam. I was going to all the clubs, all the bars, everywhere. I was like, hey, I'm a DJ. I want a DJ. Can I DJ for free? Please. And then everyone was like, yeah, I'm a DJ as well. So that was quite disappointment, let's say, or back to reality. And then I finally, after a few months, I managed to get my first free gig. So I went to DJ at a gay club, a gay bar actually. It was completely empty. I went to DJ there before opening hours, let's say even. Yeah, so it was not even nothing. And then I DJed there for 2 hours, and then the house DJ comes. And he was like, I'm sorry, I'm late. I couldn't come. So I realized, okay, I DJ for no one basically. Like the guy who was supposed to hire me was not there. Good to know. And then he was like, yeah, so how was the sets? Like what makes you stand out as a DJ? And I was like, I don't know. I just want to make people happy and dancing. That's it. And then he was not satisfied with this question. So I was like, well, shit. Like, okay, well, I went home. I took this question home. I was like, what makes people unique? What makes artists unique? What makes Martin Garrix or Eminem unique? Looked at their Instagram and I saw like, okay, well, all their profile or Facebook, everything is good quality photos. Maybe that's what I need. I need good quality photos. That's just my old phone, and back then phones were terrible. So I decided, okay, well, I'm gonna spend all my money that I didn't really have on a new camera. And kind of took a big risk. I bought a camera, and when I bought a camera, I kind of sold myself, well, I need to buy this camera. This is what it's gonna help me. And then I was like, well, maybe it's easier to go into the club industry and the party industry. I was 18 years old. I was young. I was all into parties and events. So maybe it's easier to go into those events with a camera instead of with a DJ. Because like when you want a DJ, you basically ask for an hour of the time.
Yeah.
But when you take photos, you ask for 5 minutes of communication or 10 minutes of communication, and then 5 minutes of them looking at the photos. So it's much easier to say yes to. And it worked out much easier. I was still obsessed and really passionate. I was a waiter in Amsterdam, and I was working really hard, but every second I would have after, I would send emails to all the events I could find on Facebook, and it was easier. So people said yes. I got 3 events for free. One of them never contacted me again. The second one said, hey, those are great photos. Thank you very much. We are actually looking for a new photographer. Could you come every month? We will pay you $100. So that's how I got my first gig. And then the second one, he actually called me in the middle of the night at 12 a.m. When I was in bed. Hey, we need a club photographer right now. Can you come? Yeah, I can come. How much do you ask? I saw somewhere 300. And I was like, oh, it's too expensive. Can you do 150? Okay, I'll do it. I was really happy. I was like, for a waiter job for 2 hours making, or 3 hours making 150. Oh, yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, well, and that's how I started. And then I was like obsessed. Okay, I looked at all the other photos of this club and all those other clubs, and I found all the other photographers. I found some Facebook groups, community like of photographers, communities. It was really nice. That helped me also a lot. I got in touch with all the photographers. And that's how I got to be a photographer, basically. After half a year of like doing that, I get fired from my waiter job, because like the photography was my interest. I was fully on that, and my waiter job was just not interesting. It was just like for a little bit. So they fired me. Great. I went all in. It was scary, risky, but I managed to get it. And then I did it for like 6 years. I was photographing all the clubs in the Netherlands. Everything went actually too slow, but for me it was good. But now thinking back, it was really slow. And then like slowly also into the festival. I did all the big festivals. I always focused on only making the best photos. Yeah. Because I was thinking the better your photos are, or the better product, the more money you can make.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest mistake I've ever done. So I would meet with all my colleagues, and then it would like show me other photographers who were making 10 times more than us. So like $10,000 a day or $6,000 a day, where we 600, or like if we were lucky, we made 600 a day. Yeah, they showed us their profile. He's making 10 times more than us. And then I looked at his photos. His photos are not better than mine. I can do the same things. So I was always like really frustrated. Why is that? What's wrong with me? What am I doing wrong? And then I met a new friend. He started a new job at Nike. And well, his job was to go to meetings, drink fancy coffee, play ping pong, not do so much, you know? And my friends and colleagues were working for Google or for Apple, for Nike as photographers.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, I was in the same, I felt like they're not smarter than me because I got them as freelancer. Or I didn't got them as freelancer, but my colleagues, and I got different clients like that as freelancer. So I could just work there as a 9 to 5. And he made like 3 times more money than me. And I was working all the time, like till like 5 a.m. sometimes I was working, editing photos. Yeah, terrible lifestyle. And then I was like, okay, so this is not worth doing it anymore. So that's where I almost gave up. I started contacting some jobs, like some clients of mine. I was like, hey, I know a lot of ways I can help you. I see some really terrible design choices you're making. The photos are terrible. Like there's so much things that I can help with, and then maybe I can help you full time or part time.
Yeah.
And they were like really enthusiastic about it. And then I was like, okay, actually I'll question that. But yeah, but with this year, I started like going into self-development, started reading books, taking courses, hiring coaches. And within this year, I managed to 10x my prices, 10x my prices. 400 as average daily photo shoots to 4,000.
Yeah.
And that changed my life. I suddenly like work much less. I work smarter, and I don't need to edit till late nights. I can have a life like that. Like I could see suddenly longevity or long term doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, then it's been like 9 years that I've done photography, or 8 years that I've done photography. I was a little bit like, okay, well, I achieved everything.
In the first place, how did you make the change? Because you were like first frustrated that other people make 10 times more.
Yeah.
And then you got there by like developing yourself, probably also getting a different view at some things. So how did you actually do it? Because like 10 times the price from your last price is like a lot.
It is a lot, yeah. It's not focusing on photos anymore. Photos were great. I used to always focus on like, oh, how can I make my photos more creative? How can I add this special effect? We as freelancers or entrepreneurs or creatives, we love looking at our competitors and seeing what do they do and how can I do that? But what we're missing is the whole back end, the whole business side. So yeah, I can copy someone who's making 10. First of all, my mistake was copying like other colleagues of mine that I was friends with and who are not making more money than me. Second of all, I didn't really learn the business. So I started learning the business, started hiring business coaches, started buying courses, started investing in myself. And then I learned like, okay, well, a website is really important. What you show, how to communicate with your clients, all those things, it's a whole Bible. It's like, It's a lot. So instead of focusing on like adding filters to your camera or doing all those crazy effects, really unique things that go viral on Instagram and the super lovely things, or editing your photos better, now focusing on, okay, well, how do I get to speak with more clients or more people? And how do I get to speak to the right people, which is actually the most important thing? And how do I convince myself? How do I show them, well, yeah, you can book someone who is $400, but you can also book me when I'm $4,000 because and everything needs to make sense, right? For them and for us, for me, and you need to have this confidence and also reasons why you're confident.
Yes. Yeah.
Faking it is just half of it, or like, it's not everything, right?
Yeah. Truly be confident about what you do.
Yeah, you need to understand, okay, who am I speaking to? Why are they different? And what do they actually value? They value different things than the cheapest clients. So the interesting part is like, there are a lot of clients who are looking for everything, for photographers, for videographers, for everything. But there's one type who is looking for a lot of people and was like trying to find the cheapest, and they spend more time on looking. So it's easier to find them, right? Because they're everywhere. There are Facebook groups, they're everywhere. They're actively looking. But then there's also the clients who are not really looking, but who need it the most. And for them, they don't know how to look even. So they don't have time to look, and they value different things. They value quality. They just want to work with the best because they want the best results.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So it was the switch to focus more on the business side instead of only on the product. So in this case, the photo. So more about doing business, scaling up, focusing on marketing and that part of the
business is a vague word. Yeah, people don't understand it. People like kind of turn off when they hear business. What I mean with business is more communication. How does it make sense for someone to pay me for 10 times more than he used to be, or than someone else. Yeah. When you can hire someone else with the same skills for less, or it's not the same skills. Like then you learn, okay, well, they actually value more human connection, or maybe making me comfortable in front of the camera. All the small details they value more than someone who's just going to take photos and who's maybe going to make you awkward.
Yeah.
Or who's less trustworthy.
So you have to know what they value, and then how do you communicate it? So how do you get it to the customer? How do you get them to see that you are different and that you have a different approach?
One of my favorite ways is with websites, with design. I was really bad at design, but like in communication on website and copywriting and all those things. But I had like 3 years during the corona where I really studied that and learned that and became better in that. And now when like I share my prices, where I say like, okay, yo, it's $3,000 or $4,000, I send also a link to what they get with it. So instead of saying, hey, my prices are $4,000 and you get photos, most people think, well, you're just going to stand there with your camera and make photos of me. Well, that's what I'm getting. This is not, I can just hire someone who's cheaper, right? But once you explain it's really good with like, well, you're getting also me like really guiding you and like I have a lot of experience with that to make you comfortable in front of the camera. That's one. And then like I'm editing the photos in a very unique way, which gets results, which gets more attention, which gets more links.
Value stacking, like all the things that you might other people also do, but you like say it like in a special link and you say like you get this and this, and other people don't say it, but they maybe actually do it, but they don't communicate it.
Yeah, and this is where communication is really important, because like how do I know you actually can solve my problem as a client, right? How do I know that you understand what the problem really is? And when you have a page like this, which is special for one person, one avatar, where you can explain, for example, if I do photos for a company, for an event, then I can communicate, well, I will not only make for photos, but I also select the photos that are the best and put them on in the front, so you get the most people to watch the whole album.
Yeah.
I will filter out photos, right? That's unique. Not every photographer understands that the client, like how the client of the client sees it.
Yeah.
Right? That's one thing. Second thing, I can be like hide behind bushes so no one sees me and really capture the authentic moment. And also I can be there and make the moment, make you like super comfortable, hype you up, make it super fun. And then I show them a before and after. Like I had one time I did a wedding and I hired a stagiaire to come with me, an intern, and he made some photos at the photo booth, right? So that's an extra thing that no one does actually, a photo booth, a stand booth, right? No photographers do that. And then the clients get the photos instantly. That's also something unique.
Yeah, you print them right away at the venue and you give them.
Yeah, you could print them, but you can airdrop them also, email them, right? So that's something I did. And I came up with the idea with the interesting part is I used to only look at what my competitors did. But instead, I started looking at what the audience, what my clients really want. What is the really problem? And I think that's a little bit like Apple, Samsung kind of way of looking at things.
Yeah.
Samsung looks at what different phones do, and Apple thinks, okay, what do you want really? How can I help you more, right? So that's kind of a shift. Sorry, what was?
But that's like a great shift to make, because like so many people, they only think about the end product and they don't think about the customer journey. And like you said, Apple does that great. They think always about the customer journey and not only the product. So that's like a great way. And also like with different events or different people, you have to say different things because they value that more. And then you can like at different places, you can ask like specifically. So it's like really great.
I can give you a lot of examples of how they do that. It's really fascinating.
Yeah.
But it just make it simple. Like for us as an end customer, why Apple? It's just simple. It's just they understand it. It's smoother. It's like
exactly.
It doesn't consume my time. Samsung does or Android does.
Yeah.
It solves your problems, make your life more easy. That's basically what you want.
Yeah, like imagining giving an Android to your grandpa. I say, well, I need to sign in, and it signs out automatically sometimes. And then what is my password? And then I lose a whole day like explaining my grandpa how to do that. Why would you buy your grandpa an Android, right? But with iPhone, it's just like, oh yeah, the previous iPhone, cool. It just syncs up everything. You don't need to do anything. You don't need to sign into the government like DigiDay or your bank account again. It's just like there and simple.
And I think once you get this different point of view, you can like use it at everything you do. Like all the business things you do, you really look at like what does my client want, how can I deliver it most, but also how can I communicate, because that's the most important part, because a lot of people, they deliver a lot of things, but they don't know how to communicate it. And that's why they ask low prices, because they don't know how to communicate.
Yeah. And that's one part of the business. Like There's also hiring people or outsourcing. Like I used to spend most of my time editing photos. Now people in the Philippines edit my photos, my videos, or now I can also offer videos because I don't need to edit the videos anymore, right? I hate editing videos, but I can make videos. It's easy. It's like taking photos.
Yeah.
But now when suddenly I have people in the Philippines who edit my photos and my videos, I can also offer videos in a really affordable price. So now instead of hiring a videographer and a photographer and then also spending a lot of time communicating with both of them and like organizing everything and which might cost a lot of time and energy, I can do the same thing. I can take photos and then I just switch a button, I make videos, I send everything to the Philippines and they take care of the rest.
Yeah, that's good.
It's much cheaper and it's much less energy and communication for the clients.
Yeah, so there's a few switches that you have made. You've focused more on the marketing side and on the communication side, and also on the inside of your company, you changed a few processes in order for you to have more free time to spend more time on the things that matter, that's going to give you more revenue in the end, instead of just editing photos, editing videos, and spending all your time in doing daily chores.
I mean, I wish it was just as simple to charge 10 times more. But there is a lot more. There's a lot that goes more into it, like internal processes, limiting beliefs. Like, okay, well, first time actually I started raising my prices, I put my prices on my website. And then I got a colleague of mine who was like, hey, I just like coincidence went into your website and I saw your prices. Like, this is ridiculous. This is way too much to charge 200 per hour.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh shit, okay, I'm sorry. Because he was also much better than me. He gave me clients because he was also a photographer for much longer, right? So I was like, who am I to charge more than someone who is a longer photographer than me? And that's where you get into the trap of like the 9 to 5 or the metrics of like limiting beliefs and like putting yourself lower than you could, there your potential is.
Yeah.
And then reaching the full potential, like thinking differently. There's a lot that goes into it.
Yeah. So how did you manage to escape that? Because I believe, like I hear you there were some maybe beliefs that you had about yourself, like this is the maximum wage I can get for an hour, or how did that process go for you internally? What did you change?
Show me your 5 best friends and I'll show you your future. But show me the 5 people you hang out the most and I'll show you your future, right? There's a saying. So I was hanging out only with photographers who are the same level as me. So it was hard to grow then. But then I hired coaches, so he becomes my best friend now, or I hang out with him, or I spend a lot of time with him, and he has less limiting beliefs than me, so he can help me. That's one thing, hiring people, coaches. Second of all, spending more time with your clients, your favorite clients. Okay, he doesn't have so much budget problems. He is large with me. He's amazing. Well, let me try to think, how can I befriend him? How can I be more with him, and how can I give him more value? Like, okay, I see his profile photo is terrible. Let me make a profile photo. Or I see, like one of our coaches, I saw his photos and I saw he like the colors were terrible. It was like kind of gray and stuff. I was like, downloaded the photo and I sent it to him. It didn't cost him any time. I was just like, hey, this is a much better profile photo for you.
Yeah.
Or your background, for example, or stuff like that. We photographers, we have a lot of skills and we know a lot how to help people, but we don't want to do it because we have those limiting beliefs where it's like,
So it's also about being more valuable to your surroundings and to the people that are also maybe valuable to you, but first giving value instead of only trying to take everywhere.
Yeah, for sure. And it's giving like as photographers, as a photographer or as a business owner, you have a lot of experiences because you help so much different people. And then if you can, like all this experience that you took from, okay, I organized or I was the main photographer at this $1 million event, right? Taking that experience and bringing it to smaller events of your friends or of your other clients and like telling them, hey, I saw you organize it like this. I think it could be better to organize it a little bit differently, or to help them like think, what are their problems? How can I help them with that? And then help with that. And then not hold back, not because I think this is also a limiting belief. And this is also one reason I blew up on social media, because everyone is like gatekeeping, is holding things. Yeah. Business is hard enough. Like if you share your full potential, you grow your full potential, and then suddenly you grow exponentially. Yeah. And I think this is a limiting belief.
Yeah, that's also one of the things you share on your profile. Maybe you want to explain that a little bit. What is, you said gatekeeping and no gatekeeping because business is hard enough. So what are you trying to say with that?
Well, I can share everything for free. Well, first of all, most people won't do with this information nothing. Most people don't take action. That's the first thing. And then also the people who do take action, they run into bigger problems or they run into different problems. There are like infinity amount of problems in this world. We humans have so much problems. So yeah, this no gatekeeping changed my life, or like sharing your secrets changed my life, because Well, I discovered a lot of things. I was really passionate about photography. I discovered a lot of things that made me unique as a photographer. For example, how to rank my websites #1 on Google. I was thinking, or how I color grade my photos in a very unique way. I was always afraid that my colleagues, the people I used to be friends with, or they would buy my presets, my filters, my color grading, or they would know how I color grade and they will do the same for my clients, right? Or they will know how I do my website or how all those things, and then I will not become unique anymore. That was a huge limiting belief that I had. And the funny thing is, I used to be really scared of I wanted for a really long time to make passive income, so to sell digital products. And then one of the best ways for photographers is selling filters or presets, because other photographers buy them. I was really scared of doing that. Really, really scared, because I had a colleague who shared her color grade secrets or her presets with other photographers in the industry, and suddenly she became less unique. The industry photographers, we were like, who made those photos? Is it he or she? And then it made this person much less unique, and I was terrified that it will happen to me. So I was terrified from other photographers or my colleagues finding out that I sell presets and then buying them. So I even blocked them. I even did those harsh things, or didn't sell it, or I sell it for a higher price so they don't buy it, or I just sold it in ads, So I did all those things to be like, I don't want them to discover it. The funny thing is, one of them actually bought my presets, but after I already I was a different person. After already my social media blew up and everything was okay, and then they bought the presets, and I would and then it was like, for me it was like, well, you made it, Sam.
Yeah. But it's crazy how you made the switch, because what I hear from you now, there was a lot of scarcity involved in your whole mindset and your whole way of doing business, and now it turned completely to the other side.
One of my biggest beliefs is doing something you're afraid of every day.
Yeah.
And that changes everything. And that's this principle of doing something you're afraid. Behind fear is growth.
Yeah.
Right?
Definitely. Yeah.
And I think if you help other people expand, you also expand yourself. I mean, the whole universe, it wants to expand. So if you help people expand and evolve, then you also evolve yourself. So the whole scarcity thing is really holding yourself back, because you think oh, other people will take advantage of it. But if you help people expand, in the end, you also expand. So if you let it go and you just focus on improving yourself continuously, then in the end, you all get better.
This is the beauty of where I think spirituality is connected to it also. Do you act from fear? Do you act from revenge? Do you act from anger? Or do you act from love or, abundance, helping other people? And I think one of the most important things in business is trust. And if you can help and build trust in other people's minds with your brand or with yourself, with your face, it's one of the most valuable things.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, that's nice.
Yeah.
I think it's cool, like you explain it, to be an example of the trust for other people, to be also inspiring example of you being fully you as a business owner, as an entrepreneur, and to inspire people to also do that, and to in that way create more possibilities also for other people to grow.
Yep.
And I think what you said in the beginning, the people you surround yourself with are so important. I mean, I think that's the first step, or the easiest step you can take. You can really look at your surroundings and think okay, are the people around me, are they inspiring me? Are they at the place where I want to be? And if the answer is no, you maybe have to make a hard choice and really look for people that make you inspire you, because otherwise you get stuck in the same place. And I think so many people, they just keep the same people around them, and then they expect different results, but that will never happen. We also have the same thing when we are here in Bali. And we meet, for example, Mitchell Weijerman. We also had him in the podcast, and he is also surrounded with entrepreneurs like you. And the talks we have, the even the small talks are different. It's a different level, you can really feel that there are no limitations in them, So that's really, you can really notice it. The people you surround yourself with are so important.
To be specific, it would be I can't come, I can't afford it, or I don't have the money now, or I'm scared of this, or I don't want to approach women, or I don't want to this is what I would get more back home, right? So I can't come to Bali, I can't come visit you because I don't have the money, or I need to go to my work, right? Sisters, my brothers, all of them. And I can't meet them because they have work. Or my best friends, they're students still in university, and they put it as the top priority. It killed me from inside. And then you move here, and then you suddenly let's do it. Or let's yesterday I did a podcast with someone, a client of mine. And we go to the podcast location, and we're wow, this place is not so good as it could be. We see a lot of potential, but they're full booked, and we're let's do the same business.
Yeah.
Let's do something like this. There's so much things missing. It's not exactly for us. Like, let's build a business. And then he's like, yeah, I have friends I have a friend who can build the whole business in 2 weeks. Everything, employ people, everything in 2 weeks. And I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah.
So I can change my life and have a whole new business in 2 weeks. That's what you're saying? I was like, whoa.
You have the right people.
Yeah. So it's not anymore like I cannot afford it. I cannot do that. It's suddenly, are you free those coming 2 weeks? Because we can have a whole new business that will take other people 2 years or 5 years to build.
Yeah. Crazy. I think once you get to that level of having the freedom to think big, but also having the right network and also the right experience, you can go so much faster if you just are willing to, like you say, go towards those fears every day and conquer them. And that's really where the real growth lies.
Yeah. It's everything is here.
Yeah.
You can change your whole life in one day just here.
Yeah.
And it's so powerful.
Yeah, I think that's one of the most important things that we also talk about in the podcast, and that is really the basic principle of everything. We talk about business, of course. We talk about turnover, about growing, etc. But it all starts with you as a person, and it all starts in your mind. You know, your mind is the only thing that is stopping you, that is blocking you, that is causing you to have fears, limitation. That's the only reason why you're saying no to opportunities or why you're pushing the brakes.
You're the biggest enemy of yourself.
Yeah.
A lot of people, they think like life happens to you, but life comes from you. Like everything is just in your mind. Like your whole life. Like I always think like, for example, someone with the same background, they can have totally different lives. You know, they come from the same place, but like in the end, they end up somewhere totally different.
Yeah.
So what makes it different? Like you, the way you think. And people never realize that, but like your whole life is just like your actions.
We can go spiritual into it really, because like you are your own God almost.
Yeah.
I mean, you decide if you're miserable or if you are a victim or if you can change everything. You can buy this one-way ticket even though you have no money. You can take a loan and you can change your whole life.
Yeah.
You can take the whole risk. There's so much. Yeah. If you do the right actions in the right. Oh, for example, Mitchell, he changed my life with what, like we went for dinner once and he was like, stop selling courses for less than $2,000. And I was like, people don't buy things for $400. How I wouldn't buy something for $400. How can you expect other people to buy something for $2,000? And he says, well, you need to do free calls. Do free calls with your people. And then I was like, okay, I can try that. Like that was like, for me, it was like, free calls? Well, how is that? Like, then I was like thinking, okay, maybe it makes sense because people need to trust you more to invest in you. And then, well, yeah, and then I posted on Instagram, I now do free calls. Have you ever wondered what's the difference between a 400 and a 4,000 photo shoot? I can teach you. I posted it, and okay, well, I have 130,000 followers, and you might think everything I post, he can get attention out of, like, it's not true. Like, I can make posts that will get, like, 10,000 views, and I can make posts that will get 5 million views. It's all about, am I saying the right things that people want? Anyway, so I posted this post. My calendar, like my Calendly, like people are like 50 calls within like an hour or two, something like that. 50 calls, that's insane. And it's like people who need to fill in a whole questionnaire, book a time slot, and I got 150 calls in less than a day or something like that. And I was like, holy shit, I need to answer them. But I was like, bring it on. Okay, I'm scared of this. I'm scared because for me it was like, first of all, it was like on Instagram, it was like only numbers, right? Only like usernames with numbers growing up. And I was like, okay, well, this is meaningful to me. I wanted this my whole life, but I don't know what to do with it. And now I need to speak to them real life and show them my face. And I have no clue who they are actually behind the screen. But I've learned so much from that.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting. I learned that I was really bad at sales, even though I thought I was good at sales. Yeah.
Yeah, but that's a development, you know. You go into the process, and every time you learn something new. Yeah.
I learned something really interesting from that. I learned that like some people, they just want this instant like reward. They want like, so what's the secret? What is it?
Yeah.
I told them that. I think they'd done nothing with it, or it didn't change their life. But then like actually learning about the bigger problem that they have, like realizing what is the real problem that that's their life.
Yeah.
Like sales sounds bad, but it's actually a really good thing because sales equals change. Yeah. So understanding the big problem, and then also like I used to have some courses for free. People didn't care about them. People didn't do anything, didn't take action, it didn't change their life in any way. But then when people suddenly pay you $2,000, $5,000, then they're like, well, I paid for it. I need to, this was painful for me. I invested in this because I believe in it. I need to take the action now. I need to like make 100% out of that. And then everything you say becomes much more meaningful to them. Like, okay, there's this Russell Brunson, he speaks about this in his book. He has people who pay them like $10,000 or $50,000 to come to his events. And when they come, it's like, wow, they change their whole life after the event. But he gives also access to his family and friends for free.
Yeah.
They're still at school or at university or at a 9-to-5 job. They didn't take any action from it because they didn't pay, they didn't value it enough. They have those limiting beliefs and they don't understand it. So that's a really interesting principle of like investment and it doesn't need to be always money. Like money isn't the biggest limiting. You can also go help someone, work for them for free. There's a lot of ways you can get access to things that you think you don't have access to.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's nice. It's nice how you made that switch to just photography and then also your online program, of course, and to sell it. So it's been a whole journey to also get to know yourself better and to go over that limiting beliefs, I think. Yeah. So it's a really nice to see the whole growth in steps. And like you said, maybe if you look backward, you could have done it faster. But you only have the knowledge.
It's always like really easy. Then you can really see the steps. But
then you understand how powerful this is. Because like if I would have known what I didn't know back then, my life would be so different.
Yeah.
Speed would be so.
But that's also the funny thing. Like people think when they start with business, they think like this is what I should do, and then in maybe 2 or 3 years I'm successful. But like your whole story shows like okay, you first start with photography, and then you go like from the next phase. And you learn about yourself, you learn what your limited beliefs are, and then it takes time, man. You cannot think like okay, 5 years is enough. Like maybe it takes 10 years, but then in the end you know the game, and then it's really easy. I mean, once you know how to think, you can do it with any business. Like we also see with our podcast guests, like some people, they took 10 years to scale a business up from maybe 1 to 10 million. And then the next business is in 3 years. Like it goes crazy because they know the game. They know exactly how to do it. So the whole thing that you can look in the end, like you can look backwards and you think I should different. You already can do it because it's your next business. So like the first phase is always the longest.
Yeah, that's where like cost comes in, right? It's like, or you pay with time, or you pay with money. And money, I mean hiring someone who's done it before, paying someone who's done it before, like a coach or someone, and he can get you there in 3 years instead of 10 years. So, or you pay 10 years, or you pay money and you get it in 3 years.
Okay. Yeah. And then it's also really important to find the right people. I mean, like especially nowadays, so many people are coach. But like, it's really important to have someone who already did it. Yeah. That's, I think, the most important thing.
That's where trust comes in. And that's also like what you ask with like no gatekeeping. And most coaches gatekeep everything. And then you can never really know what's behind the money thing. Yeah. But then if you build a trust up front and you're like, hey, there's like, I can do so much things. I'm good at so much things. Like they see already what you're good at. So it builds so much trust.
Yeah.
And then you kind of help them, okay, well, don't focus on this is not the right time, but do this, and this is the step road, and this is how you can implement everything in the easiest and the best way. And
like Alex Hormozi.
Yeah, he gives away everything for free.
Literally everything. And
I don't think everything.
Not everything, but a lot. Or he makes it seem that he's giving everything away.
He has a lot to give.
Yeah. And his content is crazy. I mean, he knows how to do it, like in all ways, like ads, but also like organic. It's crazy.
Yeah, he's amazing. Yeah, he's great.
And for you, how did you make the switch of that scarcity mindset to the content that we see now that you make? It has a lot of value. How did that work for you? How did you have to change the way of thinking, and how did that process go? Was that easy? Was it just like, I'm going to do this and now a completely different content strategy, or how do you do that?
Well, the biggest change was in one day that I decided to do things. Like since I started photography 9 years ago, I opened my Instagram. And at the beginning I used to follow back in the old methods ways.
Yeah.
And then just like randomly meet new people, and then just exchange Instagram and stuff. So I got to 4,000 followers like in 8-year progress, right? Really slow. And what I used to do is just like post stories of my life. Hey, I'm in Bali, I'm living a good life, and then post sometimes photos. I would spend like a whole day, like hours or sometimes a whole day editing one photo, post it. And then crickets, nothing happens really, or get 50 likes. Yeah, and then like TikTok came, and then I started learning how to do that. I didn't really put anything there, but I started learning, okay, well, instead of saying the algorithm hates me and thinking I'm a victim, and thinking, okay, maybe I need to open this new social media, or maybe just the algorithm hates me, and having all those limiting beliefs to being like, okay, well, instead of that, I'm going to start studying humans. Okay, when I post this photo that I spent a whole day, what do people see? They just see a photo, but it's just like me showing you, hey, look at this photo, and then giving no context. But if I post it as a reel and I explain, hey, I spent a whole day editing this, and I love this photo so much because of this and this and this, then suddenly people understand this is why it's so like this.
They want a story.
They want a story. They want like much more than just random photos. They want context. They want to understand something. They want to learn something. They want value. They want entertainment.
And you have to hit their feelings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So there was one time, like, well, I used to be a photographer. I always used to help my clients with everything they wanted. I used to help them with social media. I helped them with photos, videos, everything. And I used to always think like, if they just trusted me more, I could have like I could have changed their whole social media. Their social media is terrible. I think I could do it much better. You know, and you say that and you're like, I'm so smart, I'm so good, but then you do nothing for yourself, right? You don't do it for yourself. If you're so good, do it for yourself then. Yeah. Prove it to me, right? So, okay, I booked a one-way ticket to Thailand. And so I'm not going to be distracted by clients because they love being like, hey, can you come tomorrow to work to help me with photos, or can you send me these photos? So I was like, I'm going to distance myself from all of you. I'm on vacation, don't contact me, and I'm going to focus on myself. And then I did this, like in the plane, I was like, okay, well, I have nothing to do here. I'm so free as a bird. Let's put like one challenge at least. Let's do something. So then I told myself, well, for the next 30 days, I have to post every day. And I have to post not a photo, but a video every day. And then in the plane, I was thinking, okay, well, I'm actually, most of the time I'm posting videos of myself speaking. I was scared of speaking on camera. So I was like, okay, well, I'm scared of it. Let's do it. Right. So I was doing it on story. I was thinking how stupid it is, because like, what is the most potential of a story? Reaching 50% of your followers? Yeah. Maybe. Yeah. Right. It reaches like 100 people or two, like a little bit. But then if you do the same thing and you post it as a reel, it can reach 5 million people suddenly. So the potential or the return on investment is much bigger.
Yeah.
So I did all those small tweaks with how I think and how I see those things. It was the best return on investment. And also like there were so much reels that I made that I never posted or stuff like that. Right, because I was scared of that, or so taking action. So like this challenge, I have to post before midnight, or like once a day I have to post. Otherwise, I don't know. I added this challenge also to my calendar, like that I need to change it from red to green to post it. You know? Yeah, and then that changed like within the first month. I got like at the beginning, okay, the first few days nothing really happens. Like okay, well your friends are like, you're making videos now. That's a little bit awkward, but it's cool. So you're like, okay, well it's not awkward. I'm gonna make it better every day. But then within a week or 2 weeks, suddenly 30,000 followers. And within the first month.
Great.
Yeah, and then 75,000 followers in 3 months. And I'm like, oh, this is awesome. But, like I have some people to speak to suddenly, but it's also like people who are a little bit hiding behind their phones. They're not really communicating. So
that's difficult with followers. So you have really followers, but they're not interacting.
Yeah, so then you meet, okay, now I have a new problem. I have a lot of followers, but not so much comments or engagement or like actual connection. Okay, now let's build trust. And I always had this belief of like behind fear is growth. So for example, sharing my prices on my Instagram publicly, that was something I was traumatized by, or like a little traumatized by my previous colleague who told me your prices are way too high. That's one thing. The second thing, what if my clients see that? What if my clients see that I used to charge less and I charge them more now? Like, would they sue me? Would they like this is scary. And then like, all those things. So one of my best ways to make content is to do podcasts or to speak with other people, because it's just natural. Everything comes naturally. And then speaking in front of camera can be sometimes fake and stuff like that. And like you said, but there's a lot of ways that I know how to make content, but that's one of them. And then hiring video editors, and they find the right parts, the most interesting parts. Most video editors don't know how to do that, so you kind of need to coach them on that. But then I had the video editors. I had an agreement with them. I pay him $5 an hour. He gives me 2 videos a day. No, $5 a reel. He gives me 2 videos a day. So $10 a day. I get 2 reels every day. So I can choose one of them to post. Right? And then he would choose things that I wouldn't always choose. For example, me sharing about my prices, he would choose that part because he found it interesting. And I was like, now I need to share it because I have nothing else.
That's great. That's actually great. It's pushing you to the limit.
Yeah, and then I'm like, okay, well, I'm in control. I can always delete it if I want to. I can see, like, I can post it for 10 minutes. Maybe my clients don't see me, like, and see how it goes, see how the reactions people. And then once you start sharing those things that are vulnerable, that are like behind your fears, behind everyone's fears, because everyone's scared about speaking about money. We grow up like that. Then suddenly you see how people appreciate it. It's like, wow, thank you so much for sharing that. Or like, I'm in the same journey, or like, you see that. And also one of the things is like, it's great to work with video editors or with other people because they see things that you don't see. For example, the first viral reel that got like 1 million views and it changed like most of it, like the first belief, let's say. I sent it to one of my video editors that we don't work together anymore. But I had a course about how to edit because I saw that other photographers like how I edit.
Yeah.
Because I had some photos that went viral in some photography groups. So let's sell this course. But then no one knew me, so no one bought the course. And then I was like, okay, well, let's share a little bit of this information.
Yeah.
So I opened the course. I sent all the videos from the course to my video editor, and I told them, make a good video out of it. And then I was like, well, there's one thing that is missing, and it's the principle. So I send them like just a voice memo of like, this is the principle. This is why I do this, right? And I told them to make a video of like the whole course, like a after movie or something, take snippets, like think creatively. And what he did, he just took the voice memo that I sent him. He took the course, like did it on high speed, and just added the thing. And I got it like at 12 a.m. Like at midnight, I got this video, and I said, look at it, and this is not what I meant. Like I was pretty mad. I was pretty upset. Like this is lazy work. You just took this, like I can do this for myself. I thought it was terrible because it's missing so much content, it's context and all those things. But I was tired and I had to post. I did a challenge, so I posted it, and then the next morning, like boom,
Blew up.
it blew up. And that's where I realized like what I think is not always right.
Yeah, but that's so interesting. That point of view is so interesting because like if you think about it, your limited beliefs are in the choices you make. So if you have someone else looking at you, for him it's also really easy because he thinks like, yeah, let's do this. And maybe you think, no, I don't know if it's great, but maybe he thinks totally different. So it's a really great way of like actually avoid your limiting beliefs and help you grow. And then in the end you realize, fuck, I should just do this more often,
Yeah, there's a lot of things that we can learn from it. Well, first of all, was it lazy work? Probably, maybe as well. It's luck. It's not luck. But like also, did he see something that I didn't see? For sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
But that's really great because we had the same. Like I was always editing our episodes, and like of course it takes a lot of time. So in the end, there's no energy. But also like I choose all the shorts. So like in the end, my way of thinking, my beliefs are all in it. And now we have like people who are editing daily. Like they make so much content for like so many entrepreneurs. So they really know how to think, and they know the system. So it's not only like that you have to spend less time on it, but also it's way better probably.
What you could do also, you have a course, right?
Yeah.
You could speak to a few of your followers or like top fans who don't have the money, for example, from poorer countries, and instead of paying, I don't know, how much is it?
It's now, I think, €1,000 per year.
Okay, well, instead of paying €1,000 per year, how about you just edit the videos for us? And he comes from a perspective of a fan already. He knows exactly what's interesting.
Yeah.
Which you might not know because you're just living it, right? It's normal for you, but for them, it's like, no way people earn so much money, right? Yeah. For example, that will be super interesting for him or other interesting things. And he can make you this like celebrity or just like get all the interesting parts out of you.
Yeah, that's really great. Actually, a good idea also to take, we have so much content, we have so much podcasts, but we also have our own courses, but you're always limited really on, we have to make, for instance, we have to make an ad video, and then you make the ad video, and we have to make a course. But in the meanwhile, you have all these pieces of content, but you're not making reels out of it because you're thinking this is paid content, so I'm not going to post it for free. It's also, it's in your head because it's probably where the best pieces are.
Yeah, that's one thing. And then so for you, it would be hire someone who is a fan of yours already or is following you, wants to work with you, but cannot afford you. Hire them. But then also for the viewer, if you cannot afford something or you cannot pay it or you don't want to pay it, invest the time and go make videos for them for free. At the beginning, make 3 videos for you guys or for me. Yeah. Make sure or give it your best and make sure it will go viral or it will get what you guys want or what I want. And then like you can get a client out of it. Like you can pay them because you're already paying other people maybe more than what you would pay them. Or you can get a course for free or you can get coaching for free or you can get all those things. So it's not only like this is another limiting belief, for example.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
And for you, so you outsource the videos, but are there certain elements that you put in the videos now? Because when I see them on your social, they are like they grab attention. They are the images are fast, but also the text beneath it, it's good. Are there certain elements you have to put in a video now, or how do you make sure that you have videos that stick?
It's a whole Bible. It's a lot of testing because I try to post every day for a whole year now. So I learned, okay, this doesn't work. This works. Why doesn't it work? So, and then it comes to priorities. This is how I like to see everything. Like, this is top priority, this is second priority. And then hiring video editors is really challenging because they, as photographers or as any creative, we are nerds. We don't understand humans, but we love to focus on the effect. There's technical parts. There's this new update. Now I can do this. Let's do this. Let's bullshit.
Customers don't give a shit.
Humans don't give a shit about it. And it's the same thing with Apple. Like, don't look at what the technology does, what the possibilities are. Look at what the humans want and what they interact with, right? So instead of focusing on the text, this is most video editors, they will just choose random parts of a podcast or stuff, and they would put the text in a fancy way, and it will be like, I did my job. This is the value in this video. Yeah. And then we post it, and then it doesn't get any views because no one understands nothing about it. So this is where it goes wrong. So, I just hired a new video editor, and I spent some time coaching him. And I'm telling him, everything you learned is not like all those effects, it's not important. Focus on what I'm saying. Try to find the best hooks, the best starting parts, the best moments, the best principles that I'm saying, and then make sense out of that. So focus on the first 3 seconds and then explain it in the best possible way, or show me explaining it in the best possible way. And then for me, top priority is the audio, what I'm saying. Right? Because I do education. If I did entertainment, it was different. Yeah. But what I'm saying, most important, what is the first 3 words that I'm saying, or the first 3 seconds of words? And then a lot of the times I would have, like, they would just cut this and nothing else. So they would keep the pauses, or sometimes they say the same thing twice, right? And then so it's also nice that I'm a video editor, because they would send me a video that they think is good, and then I would look at it and I would think like, I'm saying the same thing twice here. This doesn't add value. So I'd cut words out and then make it and cut that spaces and make it to the point. Okay, that's one thing. Then the second thing is people don't want to look at your face because it's not interesting. They prefer looking at something more interesting. So an example of that is a dog running after a cat. We naturally find it interesting. We would look at it, into it. And also when we're speaking to each other, like now I'm looking to you. But I mean, if there was something interesting here, we would look at that probably. So that's it's in our nature. So for example, if I say this is how you edit videos, instead of showing me speaking, show someone who's editing videos and who's showing a trick or something like that. Something interesting there. Show what you do. Don't show. And then also a text hook I found out is really important. So give a reason for people to stay, and not what I'm saying particularly, but like a title. Yeah. Right? And with as little words as possible. So 400 versus 4,000 photo shoots, for example. Yeah. Not how to raise your prices and make more clients. It's too long. Anyway, there's a lot of psychology that goes into it. Also, dumb it down. So at the beginning, you were kind of speaking with fancy words, with high terms, right? The more high terms, the less people can understand it, and the more brain power it uses. So if you can dumb things down or make it simpler.
Especially really important with shorts. I mean, they already use not that much brain power. So
if they get it without thinking too much, the more people, it's a percentage game, right? You could sound smart, but then you attract less people. Yeah. But you could also, right? And then funny, and then the whole question is who do you really want to target? Do you want to target the masses, or do you want to target only your ideal customers, right? And there's all those things. And then actually solving a problem in the real, actually being valuable so people will save it, or being controversial so people will comment on it, or those kind of things also help. Now I test something with my video editors because they really find it they're really proud of adding the text and changing the colors and changing effects. So I'm now forcing them and telling them no more text, no text at all. I don't want to see text. I don't want you to and then for them it's suddenly but this is my most valuable thing. This is what I do. This is my job. It's not anymore, buddy. I don't hire you for that. I have millions of video editors who can do that. I don't want that. Focus on the other things. Prioritize, right? Yeah. So no more text. Because I saw that some of my most viral reels didn't have text at all. I just made them myself.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And I think these things are getting more important every day. The online thing is really the most important thing now.
Yeah, and it's growing so hard. There's so much content out there. That's the difficult part, to stand out and to make a difference, because there's so much just distractions.
Yeah, but there's also so much problems that are not solved. Yeah, that's one thing. Actually, I'm really considering stopping with photography, with teaching photographers and helping other people, other entrepreneurs build their personal brands. Because I meet so much entrepreneurs there, and they're hooked. They're like, I'll pay whatever you want. Help me build what you did for yourself. Do it for me. Yeah. So
That's nice.
going more to that. Yeah. But my whole audience is photographers, so it's hard.
Yeah, it's going to be a hard switch to make, perhaps.
Yeah. But also photographers want to build a personal brand. So
Yeah, exactly.
if I dumb it down,
There's still a match, like
if I do it in a smart way, that's what I'm trying to figure out. How do I do it in a smart way where I or help two people, two different avatars, or do I just help one avatar because they can pay so much more than photography?
exactly.
All right, so we always have a question about your future. You already started talking about it. So, but what do you plan for your future? How do you see the coming 3 to 5 years?
I think building personal brands, going all in on, like I already quit photography. I stopped since half a year. And then building personal brands, going all in on content that sells, right? There's like content that's entertainment, but content that actually sells to drive. So not always about the views. Some content is really nice to have views, but some content is better to sell and to actually make an impact, actually to change people's life with it. And maybe even build a studio where people can just go in, record a podcast, or build personal brands there, record everything and have it as easy as possible for them, have beautiful backgrounds and all the effects and all the beautiful things, but then also focus on the right things and build my personal brand, basically. That's build my personal brand as big as possible and provide as much value as possible, actually make an impact, actually change people's life, even with my free content.
Yeah,
build as much trust as possible.
I think that's in the end always the most important thing. Like the bigger impact you make, like you also grow from that. So that's the thing you should focus on the most.
Yeah, to be honest, money doesn't motivate me too much. But getting messages or meeting people who are like, hey, you actually did change something in me, or you changed a lot in me. Actually, I quit my job because of you. Thank you, Sam. Like that.
Yeah, that's great.
So much more powerful than that.
Yeah.
And then dying. Yeah, I had like a crisis once, like during Corona crisis, where I started asking myself, why am I alive? What's the purpose of it? And it's a scary question, because that question leads to a lot of death, right? A lot of like suicide and stuff. And I was in a crisis of like, who do I trust? What it doesn't make sense anymore. I felt attacked all the time.
Yeah.
So I had like anxiety attacks. And I started asking myself this question. So I was really scared of this question. And back then the answer was to have fun. That's the purpose of life, to just enjoy life. And that was my whole life, the purpose of it. But then it felt like an answer to just avoid a question.
Yeah.
It felt like a surface level answer. And then I started looking into nature. I'm a big fan of nature. Like you can go with nature or you can go against nature. Human nature, everything, psychology, all those things, right? So I was like looking into nature and I was like, well, what is like animals' purpose? What is like nature's purpose? It's to make kids and die. Right? As simple as that. And we humans, we love to make it complicated. And the fancier we get, it's not about survival for us here in the West. Like we are surviving really good, so we complicate things. So then it was like, okay, well, animals are really like, for animals the purpose is to make kids. We are animals as well. So for me, it's also to make kids. But we can do more things than just have kids. We can do more things than just animals can do. So what is the purpose for humans? I was thinking about it for a long time, and then I came to realization we can also build businesses that stay after we die.
Yeah.
So I think the whole principle of it is not just to make babies; it's to build something that will stay after you die. Right? You can see a video of like a human in high speed, being born, growing up, going to work, going to school, 9 to 5, die. Yeah. But then if he leaves a kid after him, great. Then he continues, and then he continues. But then also if he builds a business, just solves an actual problem, a good business that does something good in the world. So those are my two purposes, and that's what I'm going to do in my life. Have kids and build a business. Yeah, one big business that solves like a lot of
long-term impact.
Yeah, I think in the end it's all about growth, like what you talked about before, going from scarcity to more trust and love. I think the whole nature of our biology of nature is about expanding and growing. Everything a plant wants to grow, a creature wants to live, wants to grow, and we are the same. So I think if you are in the course of nature, in the flow of nature, you're basically doing the same. So you're sharing things with other people, trying to expand everything instead of shrinking. And I think that's the main part, like you're saying, that's the main part of life, to grow, to expand in whatever way you can.
Yeah, that's the business. What's the business is doing?
Yeah,
and growing self-development.
Yeah, exactly.
Beautiful thing.
Yeah, not just a business, but as a person, in your relationship, as a father, as as a friend in all ways.
To be honest, marketing or psychology, that's a really big thing for me. Like my parents, for example, they work really hard on their small pops and moms business. And there's so much ways that they can make it smarter. Like, for example, I build them a website, which now they can charge much more, make more money.
Yeah.
And then like I want to hire for them people. So it's like, but I think this is like one of my core drivers to help my parents or people like my parents with free content. Like, this is the goal for me, that my mother would be able to watch on Instagram a reel that she will implement. And because of that reel, she can change one thing in her business and make twice more money and be twice less of a slave of her business that is really slaving her or making her slave, and have a better life. One small tweak.
Yeah, I think that's really important, like sharing your point of view and set people free, like with the message you say, like in your videos, for example. Yeah. That's a really beautiful thing. If you look at it that way, you can actually help people expand in their own lives. And so, yeah, that always gives the most, I think. Hey Sam, we always have one last question, and that's like, if you're gonna give one message to the audience, like what would it be? Like your biggest lesson?
It would be probably focus on humans instead of on technology. Focus on how can you solve your clients or your ideal clients or your friends' problems, instead of how to make better photos. So instead of make better photos, focus on how to solve, understanding the problem better, and then solving
the customer journey, like what do they actually need and want, and how can you really solve their problem, instead of like making something really beautiful from the outside but like not really in touch with the client or the
and then it's also go deep, don't stay surface level. Surface level is, I need photos, I need videos. Cool, I can make photos and videos for you. No, the real goal is I want to build a personal brand so I stay relevant in the world, or I wanna express myself so I can actually change lives, like change mine or stuff like that. That's the real, so depth, not staying surface level in conversation and everything in life.
Yeah, there's always a question behind the original question. There's always more in a deeper level.
Yeah. So truly understand, and then think, how can I fully help those people? Instead of fully focusing on how do I make better photos and build my ego, and because that will lead you to burnout, like it led, or almost burnout like it led me.
Yeah.
Focus on humans, that will fulfill you much more.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is, in other fancy terms, marketing, business, all those fancy words, but it's just focus on humans.
Yeah. Very nice lesson. Very important lesson.